In this episode, I'm going to cover some clues and physical signs that your child might have gut dysfunction. Now, you know that gut dysfunction is very prevalent in autistic children. We know that gut dysfunction has been associated with the severity of the autism. We also have research showing that increases in gut dysfunction can cause increases in anxiety and irritability, and that gut dysfunction can also contribute to certain challenging behaviors such as self-injury and aggression. So it's extremely important to identify gut problems and do something about them, because the health of the gut is going to dictate the health of the entire body, the brain, and the mind. But the problem is that the clear telltale signs such as constipation, diarrhea, loose stools, and visible pain or discomfort are not the only way that gut dysfunction can manifest in your child. So obviously, if your child has diarrhea, you know something's up. If they have constipation or gaseousness, bloating, you know something is wrong, right? However, there was a paper published in 2010 in the Journal of Pediatrics where the researchers also list a bunch of other physical signs and potential behavior clues that I'm going to share with you. Now, if you see these in your child, keep it in the back of your mind that they could indicate your child is unable to communicate or verbalize some type of discomfort which could be in their gut. So, for example, application of pressure to the abdomen is one of the things that the paper listed. So leaning the tummy against or over the furniture in the house or over the table, pressing hands into the tummy, rubbing it. These are very clear signs of gut dysfunction, right? Some type of discomfort. Any unusual posturing, which may appear as individual postures or in various combinations such as jaw thrusting, neck torsion, arching of the back, odd arm positioning, rotational distortions of the torso, sensitivity to being touched in the abdominal area, flinching. I think many behaviors in autistic children have for a very long time been attributed to the autism, but more and more research is emerging that a lot of these behaviors are caused by some type of imbalance or dysfunction in the body. And we have clear kind of signs. For example, the paper continues to list other things that you might say it's because of the autism, but for example, they say agitation, like pacing, jumping up and down, facial grimacing, gritting the teeth, and unexplained increases in repetitive behaviors could be because of some type of gut problem. Also, mouthing behaviors, chewing on clothes, pica, which is eating like things like sand, soil, paper, other non-food substances. These could also be, gut dysfunction can contribute to these kinds of behaviors. Also like constant eating, drinking, swallowing, kind of this grazing behavior, frequent clearing of the throat, swallowing, tics, tapping behavior such as finger tapping on throat. Again, they have been observed to be a manifestation in many cases because of some type of underlying gut dysfunction. So if you see these behaviors in your child, I wouldn't necessarily say, oh, it's because of the autism. I would start questioning, start thinking, what are their pooping habits like? Are they a bit constipated, or are the stools very loose? Because these are, if you get more than one clue like that, it's much easier to say, okay, there's definitely some investigation that your practitioner needs to do, like running a stool test or an organic acids test. In terms of other potential behavior clues, the paper, and I'll include a link to it in the show notes of this episode in case you want to read it. But the other potential behavior clues include the sudden emergence or worsening of the following. For example, sleep disturbances, difficulty getting to sleep or to stay asleep, irritability, aggression, self-injurious behavior, such as if your child bites themselves, hits or slaps their face, head banging, or a sudden increased or unexplained increase in self-injury. This could also be due to fairly serious gut dysfunction or discomfort. Also, oppositional behavior, non-compliance to requests, screaming, sighing, whining, moaning, groaning, and sobbing for no reason. These can indicate a discomfort that potentially your child is not able to verbalize. So obviously with smaller children that do not yet talk, or not non-verbal kids, or kids that have difficulties in communication, you have to be ever more vigilant when you see these kinds of behaviors to think about, could there be some type of gut problem underlying them or contributing to them. So I hope that you found this episode useful, and I will see you on the next one. In this episode, I'm going to cover some clues and physical signs that your child might have gut dysfunction. Now, you know that gut dysfunction is very prevalent in autistic children. We know that gut dysfunction has been associated with the severity of the autism. We also have research showing that increases in gut dysfunction can cause increases in anxiety